And at some point you leave, obviously. What was that process like? Was that an acceptable thing to do? Were you looked down upon for doing that? Just talk me through kind of people's reaction to you deciding to leave.
Well, I didn't have so many people reaction when I decided to leave. Why? Because nobody knows. I didn't tell anybody. Just the idea of me wanted to be a professional boxer was crazy enough not to tell people that I'm leaving to go somewhere that I don't
They would
know.
have never believed it.
Yeah, I mean, nobody believed in it, and in my entire life, nobody really believed in it. They thought I was losing my mind because nobody from where I was, from my country, even those who had the opportunity, best opportunity than me before, never made it. So, like, how are you expecting to make it? And but I was so passionate about it. I always believe in it until, like, when I found out that I had gonna leave. I mean, I was older already. I wasn't going to school. I was working. But I started boxing there. I was 22. Um, and that was the moment I'm like, oh, this kid is falling apart, you know. But I kept doing it.
And for people that don't already know, it's not like you can just jump on a plane and come to the
No.
US and start training and then you turn into who you are. There's a long path between that.
Oh, yeah. Like, when I realized that I had to leave, it took me like 4 years because I had to save money, not to buy a plane ticket because I couldn't have a visa. That's for sure. In Africa, when you go to a visa for the West country, they make a whole background check. You know, they investigate everything in your life, your family, to see where you come from and if you can afford to live where you're going, because they don't want you to come here with your misery, you know. So I knew that was out of option. So the only thing to do was to sneak, and sneak was like migrating. And it's not like we were in the border of those country. I have to go through country after country, from Cameroon to Nigeria, then Niger, then Algeria, then Morocco, and then from Morocco to Spain. That was a hell of a mission.
So Cameroon to Morocco is like 3,000 miles. How are you getting there?
Different countries.
Yeah, different countries. You have to cross borders. I'm assuming most people aren't welcoming when you get there.
Yeah, and even the border control, the border police, they were there because they're trying to protect that route. You know, you do what you have to do.
Yeah.
When you have to, some place, you will take a car. Some place, you have to, like, go out of the car and walk to contour the police station or something, to get into some country or to get into some cities.
It almost feels like it's a bunch of individual missions, right? Like, get to the next one, then the next one, then the next one.
It's an individual mission. Yeah. Every step is a mission.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is from here to here is a mission. From this city to this city, there must be a police control in the road. So I have to skip that. How can I avoid that? Now, from this country to this country, which is the biggest one, because there is usually like two police border control. So you have to skip those one, you know, to get into other country because you are not legally allowed to be there.
Yeah. For people who don't know about the map, you have to cross the desert, which is, I assume, very hot and very difficult.
The desert was from Niger to Algeria, not Niger to South Algeria.
And is it true that if you get caught, they drop you back in there?
Not in the desert. You mean if you get caught?
If you get caught, I believe in Morocco, right? Where is it? If you get caught,
No, the desert part was like to cross from Niger to Algeria.
Okay.
If you fall off the truck, I think they keep going.
Yeah.
And then this little pickup truck, like little smaller than the Toyota Tacoma, and then there's like 25 of us behind that truck and with our luggage. So you barely like sit in the edge of
You're on
the
top
truck.
of each other.
Yeah. And then like have a cramp, trying to find something to hold for hours because that it took us like 24 hours to cross, and you have to hold, and you have to go through like a sandstorm with this sun, get dehydrated, everything, because at some point you guys ran out of water. So you have to hold. Like you hold a truck at the point that when they stop for you to rest, you can get off the truck. You just lean and fall on the ground because you're like a block.
Yeah.
You're crampy everywhere. But it's a matter of
And you eventually
life or
get
death.
to Morocco, right?
Yeah, you get to
And
Morocco.
then is that one of the most challenging parts, basically getting from there to Spain?
Yeah, Morocco was the most challenging part because regardless, it took me like 3 weeks and a half to get from Cameroon to Morocco. Then I was in Morocco for about a year.
Wow.
Trying to cross because you have to go through whether it's the ocean or the land. There's in Morocco, there's two territory that belong to Spain. In the west, there's this place called Ceuta, and in the east, northeast, there's Melilla, so which is protected by fences, multiple fences, and by wires and all those stuff. And sometimes you try those, those are very hard, and there's security guard in the Morocco side and in the Spain side. But we worried the most of the security of in the Spain side because they are well equipped and organized. They have all this high tech, the infrared, the motion detector, helicopter, everything, cameras.
And are you learning this as you go? Basically just trying things and they don't work, you try again and they don't work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, like the amount of stuff that you will learn in that process. I get to a point that I was, you get to the point that you have to be able to recognize a undercover cop.
Yeah.
Because they are looking for you all around every time. Everybody that you meet could be a police or a undercover police that is there to like search where you guys are, and when he's never alone, he's always with somebody. So you learn those stuff, how to recognize one, how they are shaved, how they are dressed, what kind of shoes, how they work, and if you have a doubt about it, you're gonna seek his eyes. When you have an eye connection, you will know.
They got haircuts like me. You looked at my haircut.
Yeah, they have haircut like you. Always have a beer, wear cut, trim.
Yeah, you got like a flashback looking at me there for a second.
You look at them, and I'm like, yeah, this is it. Like, this guy is suspect.
Yeah.
Like, then you look at his eye, or you look around because he's never alone. Never.
Yeah. So how do you eventually cross? How do you get from Morocco to Spain?
In the inflatable boat.
Inflatable boat.
Inflatable boat.
Okay.
So I attempted that like 6 times. I failed 6 times, and I made it on the 7th time because my option was the ocean. The barbed wire, the fences, that was very brutal. And when you get caught there, basically when you are a big guy, because they consider that the biggest guy is the oldest and is the leader. And most of the time, the leader, they're taking out on you, and sometimes they never go back. The leader never go back. A lot of people never go back. If you saw a video that I posted like 5 months ago, that's exactly what's happened there.
Was that in the forest? What was that?
Yeah.
That was in the forest.
Yeah.
So describe that for people who didn't see it.
In Morocco. So they make a massive attempt, multiple migrants, and then some people cross and get in, some people didn't, and then some people get caught by the police because like sometime to attempt that, you're gonna hide maybe for days, because there is a infrared motion detector. You're gonna sneak like and go stay to some place like for days. So you're basically exhausted when you strike, and then some people will get caught because of the barbed wire that caught them, and they just get tired, and the police, the military from Morocco and from Spain. In the Spain side, they are more like strong, physical, well organized. They call them the Guardia Civil. The Guardia Civil. They are very redoutable.
They know what they're doing.
Oh, they know what they are doing.
Yeah.
And they have all this, their headquarters, like you see all the technology, the surveillance equipment. I'm like, how come can we make it from here? But for somehow some people still make it. So yeah, when they get caught at that moment, that's where your nightmare begins.
Yeah.
They're gonna beat you up, and sometimes most of them will never go back.
Yeah. And I assume at some point you're pretty scared, I imagine.
Oh,
right?
you are scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you fear for your life?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You see people
the whole time.
The whole time you will see people now, and then the next day maybe they strike or they get caught or something, and they beat them, and you never hear from them.
So if you feared for your life,
you will see people they go attempt to the ocean,
yeah,
and then they don't work somewhere in the middle of the ocean. That I don't know, something will go wrong because they are using this inflatable boat, which is not very safe, even though they have a life jacket, but life jacket can't just hold you enough for the rescue to come. And if there's not a rescue around, you're done.
If you're scared for your life every day for 14 months straight, why keep going?
Why turn back?
You didn't have an option.
I mean, believe me, you think about it every day, like going back. What for?
It was worth the risk in your mind.
Yes, it's what there is. And then, and also like personally, as a man, your pride does allow you to give up.
Yeah.
It's like giving up. At the moment that you decide to go back, everything's going to be okay.
That's going to be your life, basically. You're staying.
Your failure, you're going to live your entire life with. And as soon as you leave your country or your family, they don't know where you are or what's going on. Everybody start to have a hope on you. Like, oh,
he may get there.
He's going to make it, and he's going to help us. So when you come back, you're a disappointment for your family. You're a shame.
You eventually make it to Spain, then France, Paris. You start training. You get convinced to do MMA instead of boxing, which I think you originally wanted to do.
Yeah. And I wasn't even going to France. I was going to Germany because I wanted to go to England. But, from Europe to go to England, you have to cross another border,
At this point, you're like,
I'm done.
Yeah.
Basically because I knew that like my final destination is America, is the US.
And you can get there from Paris. So as long as you're in a spot
so I'm
where
like, okay, if I go there, I don't know how long it's going to take me to get in the UK. Maybe 1 week, maybe a month, maybe a year or years. So why would I spend that time? The only thing that I want is the opportunity to build it, to go somewhere. So then I decided to go to Germany because at that time the Klitschko brother was in the top in the heavyweight boxing. So I assumed that Germany would be a good place for me for boxing. For some reason, I stopped in Paris. Then I meet people, and then.
Did you know what MMA was at the time?
No, I didn't know.
Strictly boxing, and
strictly boxing. Yeah.
And what made you say, okay, that I'll try it?
Actually, what made me really say okay was the UFC contract. Because even though I was doing it, I was never like, okay. I'm like, okay, since I'm doing it, why not? I first went to the gym, to a gym named Kajin. Then I met a guy named Didier Cameroon. I think that was the guy that in some way made me do MMA. because he was like very supportive and like, yeah, you're good in boxing. You have a very good boxing. I think you have a good potential to do MMA. And that was the first time I heard about MMA. I'm like, what is MMA? Then he started to explain to me. I'm like, bro, I don't know about that.
You got a kick. I'm just trying to throw hands.
And that was June 2013.
Wow. It's a long time ago.
Yeah, that was June 2013.